Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to my first ever Bead With Me video. It is so fun that I'm finally doing this and I want to show everybody the behind the scenes of what goes into making a beaded bag. The hours and hours of beading, a lot of thinking, a lot of prep work, but mostly I just want to show how it really looks to make a beaded bag from start to finish. You want to start off with your big juicy bowl of beads. In this case, it's pearly beads. And then you want to pull your wire, pull it until you have just the right amount of wire. In this case, whenever I'm starting a project, I don't want too long of wire because it can kind of complicate making your first row. So I want it just long enough for me to not have to restring very soon, but also short enough that it's easy enough to start. That's what I'm doing. So I'm pulling it to make sure that both sides are equally as long before I put my first beads on. Now here I will be placing my first beads onto one side of the wire. It's going to be 4 beads placed first. Once I've placed the beads on there, I'm going to make the first stitch or the first circle, as I like to refer to it as. I don't really think that I've seen proper terminology for this type of beading ever. I just go by either calling the first 4 beads a loop or calling them a circle, because you start with 4 beads in this particular case, and then you keep adding to that. But each circle or each loop contains 4 beads. Once you have your 4 beads, you are going to take the end of the wire and put it through the last bead so that both wires are crossing across from each other out of that last bead. And then you sort of continue that process on and on. At this point in the video, I got my wire tangled because it was a little bit too long and I'm getting a little bit frustrated, but here we go. I've got it and I'm going to pull it tight to have it lock, like interlock on the first loop. Oh yeah, look at me. I'm so happy about this particular situation. And then once you have your first one, you keep adding beads so that each loop contains 4 beads. But this only means that you need to add 3 beads in total, because the previous last bead is the beginning of the next loop. So here I go. This is me doing that over and over and over and over and over again until I get to where I need to get to. And I was sort of trying to figure out how long and how big I wanted the bag, because I didn't really want to plan it. I wanted to see what felt right once I was there and once I was done. Here I am on day 2, and I'm just continuing the process. Nothing different. I had finally decided how long I wanted it to be, so it was a matter of just adding beads. And once you finish your first row, you're adding even less beads to it. You're adding 2 beads per loop. Sometimes just gotta push, because mentally after a full day of work, being up for 9-10 hours and coming back and doing this, it's a little much, but it is very relaxing once you get into the groove. Once you're moving, you are grooving. So it's day, I think 4 or 5 since I started the beaded bag. A little update. I have one side done. It's gonna be kind of a baguette size. So imagine it like under the arm. And I have both sides done. So now I need to attach them, which I'll be showing you how I do that, obviously. On to the next. If I'm going to be very honest with you, explaining how to do the attaching of the sides to each other is a little bit interesting or difficult, but to be honest, you're basically doing the same motion, except now you are attaching one side to the other side. And you could ask me, why don't you keep going until you have one long strip? Well, oftentimes when I'm doing the long strip, I'm going in a separate direction, meaning that where I'm interlocking the beads is not in the same direction as the part that I'm adding. For this part it is. For the sides, I could have done it longer, but since I find it extremely boring to make one really long strip, I like to do the sides after. And then the bottom is where it really counts, because then I'm going the short way. Anywho, just watch me overthink things and decide how wide and how long I want the sides to be, because the thing is, I didn't want it to be a small purse, but I really did not want it to be big and lumpy and oversized. So I was deciding between, you know, making it a little bit bigger or making it a little bit smaller, but I know for my personal bags, I always have them this size. So I thought, you know what, I'm never complaining about that being too small. Plus, it is supposed to be a baguette. It is supposed to be a going out purse. So we don't want it to be oversized. We're not thinking about an everyday bag. We are thinking about a night bag. Here's some quick shots of me with the bag. I'm not gonna have the bag ever again, but I wanna make myself something like this. Oh, the lighting is so bad, but it's phenomenal. Hey, come here often. Okay,